Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and let's talk for a moment about vehicle air compressors. And those are little portable ones you can carry around, and what's odd is I'm surprised at how many people don't have one, or a jump pack for their car. I mean, I know people who have spent over $30,000 on a vehicle, and yet they won't even spring for something that they'd use quite often, and that is a portable air compressor. And there are three general directions you can go with this. This one has a self-contained battery, this ETENWOLF that I'm going to talk about. I've done stuff with the Milwaukee here, and the Milwaukee actually has a replaceable battery, so you've got to buy both the compressor and the battery. And then there are others, like this was my off-roading one. This is a Vi-Air that literally you clamp it to a standard 12-volt vehicle battery. So as long as your vehicle's running, basically, or can run, you can charge tires with it or fill tires. But the average person would get by just fine with a good solid portable air compressor with the onboard battery. And then of course there are the sizes. Now many people have gotten little ones. I've even seen them as small as like a deck of cards, and they're supposed to pump up a vehicle tire, and they might be able to in half your lifetime or something. Usually they get red hot and then they struggle even at low double-digit PSI. But anyway, this guy is solid. I've been using it for a while, in fact, quite a while, and I'm just getting around to making the video on this. It not only is up to 160 PSI, but that's pushing it. Maybe theoretical, but most vehicles, at least the ones I encounter, don't run 160. I might go to 40, 50 maybe. Of course, bicycles, things like that, I might push up to 60, 70. I wouldn't probably run it on a road bike tire. I'm a little more precise. However, it did come with a calibration certificate. So let me adjust my light there so you can see that. Look at that thing. I haven't gotten an air compressor, portable one, an affordable one like that came with a calibration certificate where somebody actually tested it out. And look, there's the pressure test in PSI. It's off, according to this, by 0.4 of a pound at 40, and it's 0.7 at 120. So pretty good. I think that's a decent amount. And when I've looked at it, kind of compared with another gauge, it actually is. It's right on. So, a few specs about this thing. It's got an onboard 9,200 milliamp battery, and that means it's both input, charging it up with USB-C, but it also, of course, you can plug a device into it and take USB out. It comes with a few little pieces here and a very powerful light up front. So, simple interface. And this is another thing. You don't have to memorize a whole lot. So it's got the start, stop, or start, pause, and stop there. So I'll turn this thing on. Now, it's blinking here, but it is definitely not blinking in real life. If I hit the mode button, there are several different modes, 7 of them as a matter of fact. This is the good part here. When you put it on any one of those modes, it basically chooses a spot to start, and then you can adjust it simply by turning here. And battery indicator, and then of course you can just push this button to change the units down here, which is a whole lot easier, so you don't really have to memorize anything. And that's part of what I think the beauty of this is simply you just read what it says and then you turn this to make your adjustments and then you go to town. It also has a very strong bulk air hose, so you can just attach it in both to inflate and deflate. And when you inflate, like here, I've got it inflating a paddleboard, and you can see it takes a little while. We're dealing with about 1.5 cubic feet of air, or 11 gallons, or 42 liters a minute. So if you've got a great big thing or an air mattress, it takes a few minutes. And it's not going to bring it up to a high pressure. You're going to have to top it off with at least a paddleboard with a pump. but it's going to do all of the heavy work, and that's in both directions. Because if you look here, there is also this deflator. So if I plug this into the deflation side and hook it back up to, say, a paddleboard or an air mattress, it sucks all the air out, makes it flat, easy to store. Now for pumping up tires, uses the standard Schrader valve here, and it's got a release so you can go over and then tap it to get it exactly how you want, or you can use it to take out some air. It's definitely not for deflating for off-road because it's so slow, but it's a real simple way to adjust the pressure in a tire in kind of both directions. So what is something like this worth? They're around 130 bucks. There are actually several different versions of this. They even make some smaller ones, but with the USB-C, the 45 watt charger, 160 PSI on seven different modes, plus it has what's called a 100% duty cycle, and it's got an active fan in here to cool it off. And why that's important is because a lot of times, if let's say you wanted to, pump up 4 different tires, say 15 pounds in each one of them, a lot of these portable units need some time to cool off a little bit. This one should be able to run at its max indefinitely, well, till the battery goes out, which is, I think, pretty cool, because I've had some of the smaller ones that they get red hot and you just have to wait quite a while. And then there's the light right here. This goes up to 1,000 lumens. So it's got a lower setting and then the full high setting, and then of course, like a lot of these things, there's the strobe and then the SOS, which I think is important, especially if you're working. And then that also can operate while you're running any of these. So I can put it on, say, the car mode here, but then I can also turn on my light. Now another thing I noticed is this just felt high quality. Well, I've got a magnet here. It is. Apparently, this is a metal coil running through it, so it's not one of the cheap, flimsy plastic ones that a lot of these come with. And of course, this also stores around the back, which is kind of nice. So you've always got that with you, and it comes with a nice case, which is actually fairly convenient to use. Doesn't hold a whole lot besides this, which is fine, but it is a bright orange case. And why that's important is because you want to keep these things from getting dirty or wet or anything like that, whereas a lot of them don't come with cases. This didn't come with a case. My Viair didn't come with a case. I can buy cases. In fact, I'm going to do a video on that with tool bags. But anyway, so there it is. Puts links below to the ETENWOLF. They did send me this a while ago, and I've been using it for months. And I like doing videos on things like jump packs and compressors, but there are so many of them, and a lot of them you read reviews in different places, and maybe it worked 5 times and then died or wouldn't take a charge. But this thing has been going and going and going, and I've even loaned it out. And just thought, let's see what happens. So for pumping up inflatables and any valved vehicle tires of any kind, it works great. So let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.